Oh, Monica, it's been too long. Hi, folks. I'm Ken Weene, my partner in crime, Monica Brinkman. We're two
Hi
crazy
guys.
folks. And, it's been such a hectic year, especially for Monica this year. Uh, but we wanted to get together because of the holiday season and because we're resilient, and that's a big part of life. We're going to be talking about resilience. But first, before I have to comment about Monica and her dear husband, Rich. Um, they are at that point in their lives. I've already passed that point,
You
but
passed it. I knew you were gonna say that.
where they decide, hey, it's time to do something new. Rich was retiring. Monica has been writing, and yeah, she's a very talented artist, and now she's branched off. You might see behind you, on her left, your right, there's a sewing machine. On the other side, there's a rack that has fabrics in it.
Yeah,
And
they're the scraps.
Monica has been making things, and I'm going to ask her to tell us what she's been making. But just to give you an idea, she now is being represented in stores. She's also selling at the farmers market during season, but she's being represented in stores. People are contacting her and still contacting her, I believe, for her paintings and
Yeah.
pastels. If you have a beautiful animal you want memorialized, celebrated. I mean, I have to say, by the way, if you haven't seen gone in my books on Amazon, there's a book called Remember, and it's a book of my poems. I hope you buy it, but you've no other reason to buy it. It's for the cover,
Mhm.
which was one of Monica's lovely gifts to me as portrait of myself. And
I finally got to paint you.
and Rich, Monica's husband, he has also moved into a craft area. He is buying up, as I understand, old silverware, silver plate,
Yeah, vintage. Yeah.
and then making it into rings and bracelets. And I understand those are selling pretty well, Monica, huh?
Yeah, well, he actually is pretty clever. He made up the most beautiful ornaments. You
Oh,
wouldn't think a
oh,
guy made them, but
oh, you're talking about tree ornaments too?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay,
I
so
think they're so pretty. I would use them as a sun catcher or something when they're not on the tree.
how do well, why don't you talk a little about what you've been making and where people can go to buy some of this
Oh,
stuff?
okay. Um, to tell you the truth, I love to create new things and try new things. And one of the things in this area, and I'm hopefully across the country in many rural areas, people are raising chickens, and a lot of them are doing it now because of the cost of food. So I said, well, gosh, it's hard to collect eggs. So I'm starting to make egg aprons that have a dozen egg pockets. So that way it's nice and easy. And I do little things like put a keychain there so they can have it for the house or the shed or whatever also. But gosh, I do aprons, I do stuffed animals.
Wait a second before we go any further. Okay, well, let's talk about. I love this idea of chicken egg aprons. Folks, be very careful. Do not try and collect the eggs from your roosters.
No, no.
I mean, we
Or
have to live up to our crazy
and
old.
don't buy a red egg apron ever because the chickens love red and they'll love the color, but they'll love it so much they'll come over and peck you. So
Oh, I didn't know that. Really? So you
yeah,
don't want a red, you don't
not
want
a
a
red. You
red
can have
egg.
touches of red in it, but you don't want a big red apron.
Oh, isn't that interesting information? I would not, I here would both of us are wearing red. It wouldn't
I
have
know.
occurred in a
No
thousand years.
chickens.
Don't wear a red apron when going to get collect your eggs from your roosters or your chickens.
Yeah, yeah. We have a lady, one vendor that sells fresh eggs at the market, and you know, um, I kind of want to say something about. all the work that Rich and I do, you know, we do it because, first of all, you want to keep your mind going as you age, and you love being.
Mine went. It got. It
Oh,
was
it's not
going.
gone yet. It's only halfway gone. You know, the mind's catching up real fast.
Okay, yeah. Keep you
But I
some.
think being resilient, like you were talking about, Ken, during this time, I think one of the most fun things and things that mean the most will make a huge difference is if we try our best to buy local, or even if you have a store like, well, like for instance, grocery outlet or holiday market. These are owned by the employees,
Mhm, mhm.
so
Well,
they
I
each.
always shop local if I can when we
Yes.
have a Winco, which is employee-owned grocery.
Yes, Winco, Costco, places like that, because it's hard times right now. We all are living through it, and we can't deny
One
it.
of the
And
things that I want to push on this, of course, you're in the Sacramento area, it gets cold, and so they don't have the market all every week. But
no,
here in Tucson, where the weather stays fairly nice, we have farmers markets
yes,
regularly. And one of the things I'm noticing at the farmers market, and I think this may be due to COVID in part, is that people took up doing things like, for example, there's been a huge upsurge in local bakeries, specialized bakeries
oh
making,
yes,
say, bread, one kind of bread or two.
yes,
And those people often are to be found at your farmers market. So if you take a jaunt down there, usually they're on a Sunday or a Saturday, and look and try and support some of your local vendors. Personally, I go looking for cheeses. I go looking for soaps. I'm big on artisan soaps. I go
yes.
I go look
Natural soaps, yeah,
I go looking for some food items, although I try not to eat too much bakery stuff because um, and then of course if you look for small stores,
yeah.
local stores, local specialized stores, you're always going to do something good. And often, I have to say, the other thing about it is when you shop local that way, sometimes you'll be surprised over the long run how much money you can save.
Oh yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because I just can talk for myself personally, but I know many vendors feel this way. They care about the community because
Mhm.
believe me, they're not making a bunch of money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just, the other thing is, and this is very interesting. I happen to love Middle Eastern, Hispanic, things like that. I go looking. And one of the things is that if you go like the Middle Eastern store I go to, and the stuff is so inexpensive compared to other stores.
And you're
And
getting the authentic
yeah, and
version of it.
I brought a couple friends with me, and we were riding back, and she said, "Why are they so cheap?" And I said, "Because that's their customer base." I said, "Did you notice how many women in that store were wearing a hijab? How many people in that store were speaking Arabic?" And
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the money. They don't have the money to shop, to spend that extra bucks on the not as good, not as authentic
No,
packaged.
but I'm telling you the truth, most of the prepackaged items or pre-made items are just junk, you know.
Well, I will tell you this: if you get pre-packaged Middle Eastern cookware or something like that at like a Target or even a Costco or wherever you go, you're supporting the economy of
Costco.
of China. No, you're supporting the economy of China. You're supporting the economy of Vietnam because most of that stuff is being made. I actually know somebody who used to make Christmas ornaments. And this is back a ways when China
Mhm.
was pretty anti, but she made Christmas ornaments in China, because I mean, hey, it was cheap labor.
Well, also, can the quality of items, that's so important to me, and I know to many people. When you're buying local, look at the quality compared to, okay, I can get this bag off of Amazon or someplace,
Mhm.
for 12.99.
Mhm.
Now, if you look at this, it's the material is fake, you know.
I have to interrupt you here, Monica. Monica makes a really good handbag, folks.
Well, thank you. But
In
if
case,
you
in case you're missing that.
now what I like if you buy a denim handbag, for example, not only is it going to last you a long, long, long time, you can throw that baby in the washer.
Mhm. Now, I'm going to say something about the other side of this, okay, folks? Because there is another side of this. And I want to tell you how to shop smart by shopping the big box stores. And that is to have neighbors, okay? The saddest thing in our society is if you think about it, and I actually touch on it in one of my novels, uh, the Dewdrop Inn novel.
One of my favorites. You got to read
The
it.
people who are poor, people who are poor end up paying more
Mhm.
because they can't afford. So they end up, for example, if you go to the local 7-Eleven or whatever, Circle K, whatever it is, and you buy something, you're buying it at almost twice the price of whether you could buy it by going to a regular grocery store. But if you're buying it from a big box store, you can cut the cost again in half. The thing is, now you've got this big box of, you know, now if you have a freezer, that makes life easy. But again, rich people have freezers, big freezers. Even some of the less rich people have big freezers, but you can freeze stuff. But most people don't. Most people are very lucky if they can get more than two servings of anything in their refrigeration when they get it all together. And so if you go and team up and go, like if you
Go
have a
get a
Sam,
side of beef.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Share it all.
Yeah, we have a Sam's Club next door to us, and for $40, usually through AARP or something like that, they're always discounting memberships, the Sam's Club. So you get it in somebody's name, three or four of you join together, then you go in and you start buying your meat at Sam's Club and the divvying it up. Or even, the other day I went in there, I was looking for some salad, and I see a Brussels sprout salad. Now I happen to love Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
And this was enough Brussels sprout salad for 6 to 8 servings.
Yeah, because at the big stores, that's our problem. We get is only having two people like you.
It was
You,
like,
you
but
can't eat all that.
it was like $4.
Yeah.
Okay. So I invite our friends over. They have some. I have some. Then it'll keep for a couple of days. So, but by helping them have their dinner, and then they do the same for me. They'll come buy a chicken, drop off a chicken. If you find neighbors that you can work with that way. Now,
It'll save you money. Yeah,
Monica and
absolutely.
I are lucky in the sense that we live in defined neighborhoods.
Mhm.
Okay. We even call our neighborhood the friendly village. And so, I'm perfectly happy if I buy 4 pounds of whatever, and I'm going to use a pound of it, I can give the other 3 pounds away, and knowing that it'll come back to me from something else.
Yeah,
Who,
I know that in our area, um, they have so many different organizations and businesses who are struggling themselves, but
right.
they're helping the people that can't afford the food, wondering how they're going to get their son or daughter a present, even just a stocking. And you need to do that right now.
We even have one, well, I guess it's a couple of them now, but one fellow in particular who set up an arrangement with food. distribution centers,
Hmm.
and he brings food in to the community and puts it in a common area. And he's doing it. We're getting the leftover food. This is really funny. We're getting because he's really basically doing it for other organizations. He's trying to, but they'll end up with a whole bunch of stuff that is more than he needs for his.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I donated a freezer, a small freezer, because I was getting a bigger one, and somebody else donated a better refrigerator. So now and then we have a table for the dry goods. And, sometimes I'll go over there and I might make, oh, hey, can we throw a can of corn in that? My wife is making something. We don't have any. I'll go over and see if we have a can of corn over there. That's how neighborhoods work. That's how a neighborhood works. It used to be one of those wonderful things that you could knock on the neighbor's door and say, do you have a cup of sugar?
Oh, yes.
And we've gotten away from that, which is sad. And I think, one of the up parts of COVID was that actually brought out more of that in us, where to the degree that we did more. By the way, folks, I want to tell you a story about that, one of my favorite stories. I don't remember who wrote it, but it's one of those social media things about this growing up, and the woman across the way was would come over and borrow sugar or borrow flour, and the family knew, the person who's writing it, her family knew that this is Mrs. Jones, we'll call her, didn't have anything, that they were very, very poor. And so periodically, the mother of this family would go over and ask Mrs. Jones, do you happen to have a little salt? I've run out of salt.
Aw.
And the girl, the woman who wrote this said, why we have salt? Why are you asking Mrs. Jones for salt? And she said, because she doesn't have, and we know she doesn't have. But think how less embarrassing it is for her if she thinks there are times she's helping us as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's such a simple gesture as that
Mhm.
could just make someone feel wonderful about themselves again in their life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. We need to focus on the good things also, because I think so much hits us every day negative. And one thing that hit me, and I'm wondering about it, Ken, all of a sudden the kids are wearing flannel pants, pajama pants.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That seems to
Now,
have.
I remember when I was young and we were going through the Nixon era and all of that. And we decided we were going to wear jeans and t shirts because they were cheap. They were like $5, $2. So everybody stopped buying all the fancy clothes and everything. Of course, eventually they ended up now jeans are what? That's why they're now turning, I think, to the flannel PJs.
I think that some of that is true. I also, I'm never sure how the trends work. I have a very dear friend who years ago started wearing those. And it's like, but she's always been kind of a trendsetter, and I think that some of it is trend, some of it is that. But the other trend that has died away, you missed
Always
one in the middle.
trend. It's
You
always
missed,
trend no matter what it
you
is.
missed the middle one, which was there were others. There was the Army Navy surplus, and then there was the
Yeah.
goodwill. Uh, I think I think that people have always been looking for those alternatives that somehow say, "Hey, I can do it just as well for less."
Hmm.
And this is the newest one. And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised going forward, especially as AI does more and as people perhaps have less work time. I would not be surprised to see more of your sewing machines cropping up and people buying patterns again
Oh,
and people
yeah,
making their own clothes again.
making their own food.
Well,
To me,
yes.
that's one of
Oh,
the
wait,
most important.
you mentioned chickens. Yes, how many of us, how many of I happen to have black thumbs. Forget brown. But I can kill anything. But
Yes,
I live around a lot of people who grew up in farm country, and I have been trying to get this community to think about how to create a community farm. And we
that
have
would
some,
be wonderful because we have those. We have those have popped up also community gardens all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah. And depending on now I'm because I'm in Arizona, people will say, well, you have to you can't because it's so dry. Well, actually, it's not that dry, but hydroponic growing is something that really is very, very good here in the Tucson area. And in fact,
I
I think
can see why.
these are the kinds of things that because we now are going to have more time to do, we should be doing them. Resilience of spirit and resilience of economics and resilience of community,
Yeah,
all the same thing.
it is. And I just know if I make something using create it with my own hands, being it baking, gardening, sewing, art, you
Mhm.
feel so good. And then if you
Mhm.
sell something that you created, you get somebody pleasure.
Oh,
So
which reminds me, Monica, you never told us how do people find your things? Do you have a website at this point, or is there a
yeah,
commercial?
it's easy. It's called Art of Money B. That's MONI, B like boy, .org.
Okay.
And there you can contact me. Um, I'm pretty fast at doing paintings, but you do have to give me at least 2, 3 weeks.
And And if you're looking for my books, you can look for me on Amazon. That's the easiest way. But I do
Yeah,
have a website.
please look at Ken's books. The one that he mentioned, please buy it.
Dewdrop, you like Dewdrop, huh?
I love Dewdrop because I felt like I was in the bar with these people. I've lived with these people. Yeah.
Amen.
Well, he even named one after, and it was after me, but he named her Monica. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
Oh, I usually the names I pick for some reason, or in your case, yeah. I wanted to mention your name because I love you.
Aw, that made me feel good though. And you had Sal too. It was great. But it's a fun, fun book. And I think the ending might shock you a bit. And that's the
Well,
kind of books I love.
and folks, when you're looking at my book seriously, okay, the book it's called Remember. It's a book of poetry, chapbook. It's really beautiful poetry.
And I'm
But the
glad to see
but the
poetry
but
coming
the
back.
but the best reason to buy a book is because it has this picture on it and is done by my dear friend Monica Brinkman.
Oh, thank you, Ken. You're so sweet. But folks, please think seriously though about I know it's easier to sit down in front of your computer and just order things and not have to go outside or do anything. But if you really want to benefit your community, your friends, your neighbors, and the future of your community, stop at some of these local shops, go to some of the events they have. I know you're going to find quality items at lower costs than you would get that same type of item anywhere else.
Mhm. So, folks, have a
And
great
books, get a
holiday
book.
season. Huh? Safe holidays.
Yeah,
Bye
folks,
bye.
have a great one. And we'll be doing more podcasts. I had to take a break during the summer season. because I got so busy. But until May, we're going to be having at least two, if not more, podcasts for you each month. Ken, missed you. It was so nice seeing you again. And everyone have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. You know what Ken and I always say, spread the love, and we love you. Bye, folks.
All right. Okay.